Hey everyone, how's it going? And welcome to another week of Force of Will news. As always, if you guys are looking for Force of Will singles or sealed product, be sure to check the link in the description below for Happy Low Hug Factory. They have pre-orders for Awakening of the Ancients for $80, as well as Caster Chronicles product, although they're starting to get sold out on a lot of it, so be sure to check that out before it's all gone. Also, we're brought to you by Play DPK's magnetic playmat. If you guys haven't already, we have a video going over that playmat and we'll have more content for it in the future. But if you guys are looking for something really cool and unique, this is a plastic magnetic playmat. We have magnetic inserts that go into your sleeves of your cards so that you can play outdoors in the wind. You can easily transport your items at your locals from table to table, different things like that. So be sure to click that link in the description for either of those so they know we sent you over. So we got a lot of interesting news to go over, so we'll go ahead and jump right into it. First up, we have our announcement of the next cluster. So we don't have a name or really too many details. The only details we have is this picture, which is all the old artwork, and the announcement that we're going to be going back to Ataraxia. So that's where Alice Cluster and all that took place. And so yeah, we don't know what all this might mean or entail. I'm not entirely sure. I forget if there was mentioned if it's time travel type stuff, kind of like New Valhalla, or if it's a continuation of what happened before. I don't know the specifics of it. And we don't know the specifics of like what will be in it, if they're going to be bringing anything back. If we're going back there, are we going to see a new updated version of Regalia? Obviously we'll see old friends like you can see in that picture and stuff like that, but I'll be curious to see. That also makes sense if you guys had listened to our full interview with Jeff Finnegan. He had mentioned that he had sort of some stuff laid out for the next cluster that he had hoped that they would use and wasn't sure if they're going to use or not, but one of those things was bringing back this stealth mechanic in some fashion. And that makes sense if we're going back to that sort of area where stealth was a thing, so that would be cool to see again. So hopefully we get to see some of that. One interesting thing to note, though, that Oscar had pointed out that I thought was interesting is that all of the artwork used in this is all old artwork. Usually with the announcement of a new cluster, we get our first glimpse of some new art. Even if it's a returning character, it's, you know, art that'll be used in the next cluster. And right now, we only have old artwork and we don't have the name of the cluster either. So hopefully we get some of that soon, because I'd be curious to see what all we have to look forward to. Next up, Dylan Hunt of Gamers Lair posted a Force of Will event that he's going to be having. I thought that this was just kind of cool to mention for anyone in Canada or wants to make the trip there. He's having this event which he's calling Judgment Day, which is going to have a lot of cool stuff, cool pricing. You can see they have these sort of acrylic trophies that are unique to the event. They're sort of engraved on the back side with Judgment Day, and different of the Malaysian tokens that we all like, and other pricing as well. And it sounds like there will also be side events. Obviously the event will be New Frontiers, and yeah, he has a lot of details of that on his website. If you guys want details of that, be sure to check out the article version of this news. I'll be sure to I have links to everything that I talk about in this where relevant, so if you scroll there, there'll eventually be parts where I have here in capital letters, and that usually links to an external website, so be sure to check that out. It currently has a cap of 50 players, but he said if it gets close to that, he'll start looking into bigger venues for a bigger audience. Also, there have been updates to the Pennsylvania GP. This is the GP that replaced the New York one after that was canceled. If you missed it, I did a whole video just talking about the GP and everything to look forward to on that. You can just look in our videos. It's relatively recent from last week. But I also have an article on tcgscrubs.com that is constantly being updated. You just go to the tcgscrubs.com and we have that big old banner that scrolls through the top stories, and it's the second one that'll pop up. And that I've been updating that with all the new information. So a couple quick updates on that as far as new information is they added a VIP entry. So you pay an extra, I think, $30 and you get cool stuff like energized tokens and promos and different things like that. And they have officially confirmed a store to come there to sell and deal in Force of Will singles, which is really good. Especially I think it's really important to have at events for people who might not have the cards but need cards for a deck they're going to run into that event. And they also update with just miscellaneous information like ways letting people know to contact each other for carpooling and where the event is actually located, different things like that. But yeah, I'd highly recommend checking out our article on that every once in a while, just to make sure you are fully up to date if you plan on attending. And I'd try and attend if you can, because they're put a lot of effort to make this the best event they can. So sort your support if you are able to. Speaking of that event also, if you guys know or are someone who'd be interested in, we're trying to send Oscar over to that Pennsylvania event to stream it. Now, currently there's no one there to stream it, unfortunately, and that's really the only last thing they need to make this a full, well-rounded event. And so if you know anyone that would like to sponsor this, or you yourself would like to sponsor it, be sure to contact us either on Discord, Facebook, or at our email, thetcgscrubs@gmail.com. We currently don't have enough funding to get there, especially with such short notice. However, if we can get enough funding, we'll be able to put something together and get Oscar out there to stream it for you guys. So hopefully that comes together. If not, it's not as big a deal, but it would be great to have a stream for the event, I think, especially since this will be the first event after the new set comes out, and it'll be really interesting meta to see. Next, we got some Argent Saga news. So Argent Saga just announced that they're going to be at Anime North. Sort of event. They're going to be there demoing the game, as well as doing raffles for exclusive giveaways to the event, such as playmats and things like that. So I'd highly recommend, if you're going to be there or nearby, to check it out. It's going to be a lot of fun, I'd assume. Just look for their booth or what have you, and be sure to demo it and see what you think of it. And also be on the lookout. We're going to be having videos coming out for Argent Saga. We're going to start out with reviews of each of the intro decks, going over all the cards, our thoughts of it, and different things like that. Me, Oscar, and Joey will go through all 5 of them. And then Oscar and I will have some gameplay, physical gameplay, with proxy cards we made of the different starter decks, as many as we can do at least. And so we'll have that coming to you hopefully in the next couple weeks. If we can get all done at once, then we might just do a big week of Argent Saga where we release it all over the course of 7 days. If not, hopefully it'll just be sporadically introduced in the next 2 weeks. So be on the lookout for that as we get closer to different milestones for Argent Saga coming up here. So we won't do necessarily a how to play video or anything like that. We will go over it briefly, but if you guys want the nitty gritty of it, I'd recommend going over to the Argent Saga official YouTube page. If you type in Argent Saga on YouTube, usually it's the first page that comes up, or a channel, and subscribe to that, because it has the full tutorial on there of a bunch of mini videos going in depth on how to play. I'd recommend just checking that out. We're not going to do much better than that on here, so I'd recommend doing that instead, and we'll basically just jump into it from there. And as a reminder, pre-release is coming up here for Awakening of the Ancients. That's coming up in the next couple weeks. The 17th, Friday, is the first day that pre-releases will be starting for Awakening of the Ancients. So make sure you've talked to your locals, they have everything set up, and start advertising now, I'd say, both in your local Facebook groups, but if you think that you'll get a good crowd, share it into the Force of Will global group as well, so that people know that it's an event happening nearby them, because a lot of times they just might not know. Pre-release is a great time to bring people into the game, so I'm really looking forward to this, and it should be a lot of fun. And as a reminder, this is the pre-release playmat and the promo card for it, so some stuff to look forward to as well. A couple random things sort of at the tail end here of the news that I want to go over. Firstly, if you guys missed it, we did a podcast with Jeremy, or DMO73 of Ruler School. So if you missed it, that was the podcast from this week, so just look at the previous video pretty much. And when we sort of talked about the future meta, his thoughts on the cards that have been spoiled, and what he thinks the future is going to look like for the game and the meta as a whole. As well as on the mini podcast, we talked about what goes into creating a YouTube channel and sort of what to watch out for, different things like that. So if you're a patron, be sure to check out that mini podcast. But it was a great conversation, and if you missed it, I'd highly recommend checking that out. Also, if you missed it, I did a vlog for my trip over to the Minnesota GP where I helped Jeremy commentate. I had a lot of fun there. The vlog, I wasn't able to film as much as I wanted to, but I think I got a decent amount to give you guys a good idea of everything that was going on. It was a lot of fun, so be sure to check that out as well. Also, as a random side note, if any of you guys are already attending or thinking about attending the RTX Austin this year, I think it's in July, Oscar and I are going to be there. So if you guys, any of you are going, just let us know. We can try and get a meetup going together, get a bunch of us congregated over at the tabletop area, maybe at the convention, get some Force of Will games going. Our local store is usually the one at RTX running the tabletop area and all that stuff, so it should be a lot of fun. And yeah, we'll be out there all 3 days, so just let us know, and we'd love to hang out and play some Force of Will with you guys. But yeah, that's all the news for today. Let us know what you guys think. If I missed anything, let me know below. And yeah, we'll talk to you guys next week.